What do you think about this? Is forgiveness is a weakness? And the people who forgive, are they fools? Well, let's talk about this today. Normally, in this world, the forgiveness is oftenly referred as a weakness. People say, no, you should not forgive people. You should not let go of that anger and resentment. You have to take the revenge and you should not forgive people. Well, let me ask you, if you did not forgive people, what are you going to do? You're going to hold on to anger, no? You're going to hold on to resentment. You're going to hold on to grudges. And what all those thoughts makes you, they will make you a negative person. They will hurt your mind. They will hurt your spirituality. That is why we have to understand what is the real forgiveness. So, what is the real forgiveness? Normally, people forgive and they let go of the anger and they forget about the things that they have done. And also, in the next place, they fall into the same trap of the people who used to hurt them. So that is not the correct way of forgiving people. The real forgiveness must be there with forgiveness and also wisdom. So when the forgiveness and the wisdom combine together, then you can forgive people truly and correctly. So have to do that. So when you forgive people with wisdom, you're not saying that it is okay, you hurt me and I'm going to fall into the same trap of you, right? I will believe you again and again. That is not the way. You can forgive people. You can let go of the anger. You can forget about the hurt that they have done to you. And also still, you can stay away from their life and their negativity. Okay? That is where you combine the forgiveness and the wisdom, right? Then, if you forgive like that, if you forgive in such a way, then you will never fall into traps of those people who are going to use you. So, understand what real forgiveness is. When you forgive people, you're not forgiving them. Really, in reality, you're forgiving you, right? You're saying that, no, I'm not going to take this negativity anymore. I'm not going to hold on to this anger and resentment anymore because I love myself. I don't want to hurt myself. I always care about my spiritual development, my good qualities, and my thoughts. So when you do that, you can forgive people and stay away from their negativity and their cheatings. So that is the correct way to forgive someone. So practice this and let go of those angry thoughts and resentments in your mind. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome and welcome back to another video. Today, I want to discuss with you about how can we become peaceful and how can we become calm from our mind. Now we know that we are living in a world where we are constantly bombarded and constantly overloaded with information, with distractions, and all of the chaos. So what happens when we live in such an environment is we become so reactive and we tend to lose our peacefulness, we tend to lose our calmness in our mind. And then what happens is our frustration, stress, and depression builds in. So how can we deal with this? And what can we do to eliminate these distractions and this constant chatter in our mind and have a peaceful mind in the middle of chaos? So today, I'm going to share a few tips where you can practice in your daily life. And then you can, if you practice this, it will be a great help to find peacefulness and calm in the middle of all the chaos. So the first thing that you have to understand is calmness and peacefulness is not an outer source. It doesn't come from outer world, right? It can be found within. So no matter where you live, no matter what the place you live, no matter what you do, if you really focus on this calmness, and if you're clever enough to find that, then you will be able to find the calmness and peacefulness in the middle of all the chaos. So always remember, calmness and peacefulness should be built and should be developed within. Okay? And also, you have to remember one thing, that calmness and peacefulness is not about emptying your mind, right? When you become calm and peaceful, it doesn't say that there's nothing in your mind, no thoughts in your mind, right? Thoughts may appear in your mind, right? There will be lots of thoughts, and train of thoughts will be appear in your mind. But when you become really calm and when you become serene from your mind, you tend to not to react to all those stimulations. That is what the real calmness and peacefulness means. Okay? Normally, when the thoughts appear, right? When all these kind of trains of thoughts appear in our mind, what happens to us is we oftenly react to them, right? We become panicked and we tend to react to them. So the reason why this happens is because we think the thoughts as us. And we tend to think that I am what I think and I am my thoughts. But in reality, thoughts are not you. You are not your thoughts, right? Thoughts are just like, they're coming and going. It's like clouds, right? There's the sky and there's the clouds, right? So what is the nature of a cloud? It comes and it swarms around and it goes off, right? Sometimes the sky is cloudy, sometimes the sky is moody, sometimes the clouds are scattered here and there, and sometimes the sky is empty. So you are like the sky and your thoughts are like the clouds, okay? So there's a huge distance between the sky and the clouds. But we often think that the clouds as the sky. Sometimes when it is raining, sometimes when it is moody, we blame to the sky, right? We tend to say that, oh, this weather is not okay. The sky is always raining and it's moody. But sky is not raining. Clouds are what forms the rain, right? Clouds forms the rain. So same as that, when the thoughts appear in your mind, you can take a little step back and think, should I react to this? Should I react upon these thoughts? For an example, if an angry thought came to your mind, what should you do? Just pause a little bit and think, should I react to this? You can have a little bit of a time and think about it. Oh, this is anger. I should not react to this. This is jealousy. I should not react to this. Okay? It's okay to have thoughts in your mind. But if you want to be peaceful, you should not, and you should choose to not to react to those thoughts. So there are a few practices where we can do in our daily life to bring and to make a little bit of a help to this peacefulness and calmness. One thing that you can do is that you can slow down your body movement for a little time period of the day. Maybe like when you have time and when you're working by yourself, maybe like you're walking, maybe like you're writing something, or maybe like you're studying. Try to maintain slow body movements. Now, why I say this? Because our body and our mind is highly interconnected. Okay? When our thoughts become panicked, our body become panicked. So in the other way, if we calm down and if we slow down our bodily movements, it will be a great help for us to slow down the thought process. Then you can take a little time and think about what comes to your mind. That is one thing that you can do. And also there's another great practice that Buddha told us to do, that is called breathing meditation. When you do the breathing meditation, you reduce these heavy loads of thoughts into two thoughts, in-breath and out-breath. In breathing meditation, all what we are doing is you are constantly becoming aware of in-breath and out-breath. When you do that, it's sort of like condensing your mind. It's sort of like making your mind soft and peaceful and non-reactive. That is what you can do. And also there's another thing that you can do is to not to judge your thoughts and to be aware of your thoughts. I will give you an example. It's like you're watching a traffic pass by the side of the road, right? You can see cars and bikes and vans and buses are going, but you're not going to judge them. You're not going to stop them. You're not going to chase behind them. You sit by the road and you just watch them. Let the vehicles be the vehicles and you be you. In the same way, let the thoughts be the thoughts and you be you. When you become less reactive to your thoughts, you can find that peacefulness and calmness in your mind. So I hope you got some light about the calmness and peacefulness from this video. So I hope may all of you be well and happy, and may all of you be calm and peaceful forever. Namo Buddhaya. Having to go through an experience of losing a loved one can be extremely painful for people. So today, I want to share with you one advice from the Buddha that will help you to ease up and that will help you to deal with this grief of losing a loved one. Okay, this is from Anguttara Nikaya Thana Sutta, and in this sutta Buddha mentions Sabbehi me piyehi manapehi nana bhavo vina bhavoti abhinnang paccavekkitabba. Whether you are a male person or a female or a monk or a lay person like you, whoever you are, think that one day I have to be separated from all the loving people and all the loving things around me. This is the reality. Now, this is all about admitting the reality. Normally, we don't like to admit the reality. People run away from realities. They don't like to think about that they are going to die one day. They don't like to think about that they are going to become old one day. They don't like to think about that they are going to be sick one day or get into diseases one day. So this is all about realities, right? In this life, in this very life, right, we all have to face this reality. Death, sickness, old age, losing loved ones. These are the realities that we cannot stop, no? You cannot stop it, I cannot stop it, no one can stop it in this world. So, one thing that Buddha tells us is, admit the reality. See the reality as it is and try to think about it. Okay, one day I have to be separated from all these people around me, right? There are lots of people around us who are very near and dear and we love them so much. The reality is one day you and I have to be separated from all these people, no? Or we have to leave them. So what Buddha says is, get ready to face this reality, right? How do you get ready to face this reality? By thinking about this every single day, right? Buddha said, abhinnam paccavekkitabban. Think it frequently, right? I have to be separated from these people around me. One day, that is the reality. When you think about this, there's another big advantage of thinking like this. What is that? When you think about this, you can have that compassion and you can show your love and kindness purely. Why? Because you know that you are not going to be around them for a long time. You know that you are not going to be with them forever. When you know that, and when you know that you have a little time to be with these people around you, then you can show your fullest love and you can show your fullest kindness in this little time. You do your best to do that, right? You do your best to show your love and kindness. So from now onwards, get ready to face this reality, right? When you get ready for that, when you face these situations in real life, you can face them with a strong mind. Most of the time, people face these situations unsuccessfully, all right? They often feel depressed, they become so much sad. Sometimes some people end up suiciding themselves, right? So when you make your mind and to face the reality, when you make your mind strong enough to face the reality, you can move on with your life and you can face that grief successfully. So think about the reality, don't run away from that, right? Then you will be able to create a happy and a peaceful mind in your life. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. In today's video, let's talk about how to control our negative emotions and how to control our mind. Well, the nature of our mind is it always likes to wander in negative emotions and negative thoughts. Negative thoughts like anger, desire, or lust, or then jealousy, maybe resentment. These are the negative thoughts that our mind likes to wander in. So how can we control it? Well, our great teacher Supreme Buddha introduced us a gradual training where you can practice this controlling of negative emotions or negative thoughts in your mind. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce them to you. So first and foremost, before getting into these steps, there is one thing that you have to practice, and there is one thing that you have to master, and that is awareness. If you are not aware of what you're thinking, if you are not mindful about what you're thinking, then you cannot control it. So you have to totally understand and you have to totally be aware of what you're thinking. Okay? So whenever you become aware of what you're thinking, then you will have that power to control it. So here comes the first step. Buddha says, whenever you become aware of your mind is wandering in negative thoughts like anger or lustful thoughts or resentment or jealousy, the first thing is to shift your thought pattern to something wholesome. There are some wholesome thoughts in your mind which makes you peaceful. Maybe like thinking of something that you have done in the past, like maybe you helped someone. Whenever you think that thought, your mind becomes happy and peaceful. So what you're going to do is, whenever you become aware of your negative thoughts, we're going to shift our thought pattern to something that is wholesome, something that makes us peaceful. So that is the first thing that Buddha says. Shift your thoughts to wholesome thoughts. If that first step did not work out, then what you have to do, go for the next step. What is that? Buddha says, think about the disadvantages of thinking negative emotions, right? If you are constantly having angry thoughts, then you have to think, these thoughts are hurting myself and others. If I take actions according to these thoughts, it will hurt myself and the others. Remember, it may be a little thought of anger, but if it grow up, what will happen? It will be destructive. So what do you have to do? Think about the drawbacks or disadvantages of thinking these negative thoughts. Then, whenever you see these disadvantages, your mind will tend to stay away from these negative thoughts. Most of the time, we are not aware of these disadvantages. Okay? So what do you have to do? Think, if I keep on thinking these negative thoughts, it is not going to help me. It will disrupt my peacefulness, right? That is the second step. Then as the third step, Buddha says, pay no mind, pay no attention. If the second step did not work out, go for the third step, to not to pay any attention to that thought, right? See, whenever we give so much attention to something, maybe a thought, it grows again and again, it grows more, right? For an example, if you became angry with someone and if you keep thinking about him again and again and becoming angry, that anger will grow more and more. So what do you have to do? We have to let the thought be a thought without paying much attention, right? When you just stay away from giving attention, then it will fade away from your mind. It's something like this. Have you seen little babies, when they fall down, they start to cry, right? If the parent or the mother or father see that it is not a big deal of falling, if mother or father did not give any attention to that baby, what does he do? He He just don't care about that. He will stop crying. Same thing goes with our mind. If we did not pay any attention to that thought, right? If we did not care about that thought and just let it go and let it pass away from our mind, then it will fade away. That is one way of doing that. If the third step did not work for you, then the Buddha says, go for the fourth step to relax your thought process, right? Now remember, when you think negative thoughts, your mind becomes so much busy, so much rough and distracted. So what you're going to do is, you're thinking, why am I thinking these distractive thoughts, these negative thoughts that are making me so much busy and making me distracted, right? So what you're going to do is, you're relaxing your thought process to something very soft and subtle. Maybe like loving kindness, maybe like compassion, right? Maybe like gratefulness. When you think those thoughts, when you think more positive thoughts, your mind or your thought process becomes so much relaxed. And then if the fourth step did not work for you, then it comes the final step. This is something that we have to do with a great care. I do not recommend for everyone to do this. This should be done with a great experience and a good practice, right? And that is to crush your thought with awareness, right? You have to be totally aware of your thinking pattern and have a good determination to your mind that I am not going to think these negative thoughts, right? But this should not be done by everyone, right? Some may be not good at this, right? If you keep on becoming aware and if you keep on forcing this mind, it will grow more and more these negative thoughts. So if all those 4 steps did not work for you, then you have to go for the final step, right? So it is much better to practice these 4 thoughts before doing the final one, okay? So practice these things. When you practice, you will feel and you will understand that your negative emotions are fading away little by little. Remember, this is not going to happen overnight. It will take a long time to do this, but you have to keep on practicing. Keep on doing it. Make it a habit, and then you will become a master of it. So practice this practice and make your mind a place where free from negative thoughts. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. Welcome everyone to another video. Today, let's talk about something that is really important for all of our lives. Now, if you want to be good at anything that you want to be good at, let's say if you're studying or if you're meditating or if you are someone who is practicing the spiritual path, what is that one quality that you have to have in your life to be a master of it? If you're studying, what is that one quality that you have to have in your life to be a master? That is called consistency. Have you ever thought about why we are so good at bad habits or bad things? Bad things like anger, getting angry all the time, or feeling jealousy all the time, or bad things like procrastination or laziness. Why we are so good at these things? We are so good at these things because we have done it over a long period of time continuously, right? If you start getting angry or if you start losing your temper again and again every single day, what will happen? You will be good at it, okay? If you are procrastinating the things that you want to do, then you will be a good procrastinator. So one main important quality to be good at anything in this life or to have a habit to our life is consistency. That is why we are so good at bad things. So we can use this theory or this consistency for our own benefit.
right? If you're someone who is studying, right, you have to do it every single day, again and again, repeatedly, even in the days where you don't feel like doing it, because that is the hardest part and that is the most important part. When you feel like not doing it, but if you keep doing it, if you keep moving forward, if you keep going through it, then you will be able to make a good habit of it. And once you become good at it, or once you make a habit in it, then it will be so easy for you. So that is why our great teacher, Supreme Buddha, said that when you practice the spiritual path, right, when you practice meditations, do it again and again and again. Do not do it like here and there, once in a week, once in a blue moon. When you do that, and when you expect more results, you will never get it. So that is why Buddha said, Mettaya bhikkhave cheto vimuktya asevitaya bhavitaya bahuli kataya. Buddha said, when you practice the mind of loving kindness, this is about practicing the loving kindness meditation and mind of loving kindness. Asevitaya bhavitaya bahuli kataya. That means you have to use that mind of loving kindness. You have to do it again and again, consistently, bahuli kataya. Use it again and again. When you do that, you will be good at it. And the loving kindness, or the love, or the patience, or the compassion will be a part of your life. Okay? So when you meditate, when you practice spiritual practice, or if you're studying, or if you're in a profession, if you are developing a skill, then what is the most important thing to have in your life to be good at it? The consistency. So do it on the days that you don't feel like doing it also, right? When you do that, when you move forward through it, then you will be a master of it. But here's the most important thing that you have to have. Do not judge your progress in your life, right? We are so busy to have quick progress, quick results, because we are used to this instant world, right? We live in an instant world, right? We can find everything we want in our mobile phone, right? If you want to Google something, instantly you get the results. So we are used to this instant world. But when it comes to the spiritual practice, when it comes to the soft skills or developing the skills that you want, it is not that easy and it is not that instant. You have to do it little by little, and you have to expect little progress from one session. So do not judge your progress. Do not judge your improvements. The most important thing is to do it every single day. Keep moving, and then you will be a master of anything that you want to be a master of. Okay, so I hope you got some idea about the consistency and the value of it. So keep practicing and keep doing these things. So I wish you all, may all of you be well and happy, and may all of you live in peace forever. Namo Buddhaya.